Gen Z is the most anxious, most depressed, most mentally broken generation in recorded history. And the terrifying part? It was done on purpose. Right now, there are rooms full of engineers, psychologists, and data scientists whose only job is to figure out how to keep you staring at your screen for as long as humanly possible. They know exactly what they're doing to your brain. They have the data. They ran the experiments. They saw the results. And they kept going anyway. By the end of this video, you will never look at your phone the same way again. Let's start with the numbers, because they're hard to ignore. Since 2012, rates of depression among teenagers have increased by 60%. Anxiety disorders among Gen Z are up 70% compared to millennials at the same age. In the US alone, emergency room visits for self-harm among girls aged 10 to 14 have increased by 189%. And 2012 isn't a random year. 2012 is exactly when smartphone ownership crossed 50% among American teenagers. It's when Instagram started exploding. It's when social media stopped being something you checked occasionally and became something that lived inside your pocket 24 hours a day. This isn't a coincidence. This is a timeline. To understand how social media destroyed Gen Z's mental health, you have to understand how social media was actually designed. And it was not designed for connection. In the early days of Silicon Valley, tech companies had a problem. They were building products that people would use for a few minutes and then close. That's not a profitable business. So, they hired a very specific type of expert to solve this problem. Not engineers, not designers, psychologists. Specifically, experts in behavioral psychology, the same science used to study addiction, gambling, and compulsive behavior. They studied how slot machines kept gamblers pulling the lever for hours. And then they built the exact same mechanisms into your apps. The pull to refresh feature on your feed? That's a slot machine. You pull down, and you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes, it's something exciting. Sometimes it's nothing. That unpredictability is exactly what makes slot machines so addictive. The notification system? Designed to create anxiety when absent. Your brain starts craving that little red bubble the same way it craves food or water. The like button? Literally engineered to trigger dopamine. Getting likes feels good. Not getting likes feels like rejection. So you post more. You check more. You optimize your life around getting validation from strangers on the internet. This wasn't an accident. This was the product. Here's where it stops being a theory and starts being a proven fact. In 2021, a former Facebook data scientist named Frances Haugen leaked thousands of pages of internal documents to the Wall Street Journal. These documents became known as the Facebook Papers, and what they revealed was horrifying. Facebook's own internal research showed that Instagram was making body image issues significantly worse for teenage girls. One internal slide read, and I'm paraphrasing, "We make body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teenage girls." They knew. Their own researchers told them. Their own data confirmed it. And the response from leadership? They buried the research and kept the algorithm running exactly as it was. Because here is the cold reality. A teenager who feels insecure, anxious, and inadequate spends more time on Instagram looking for validation. More time on the app means more ads. More ads means more money. Your mental health was never the priority. Your attention was. And it's not just Instagram. A former Google design ethicist named Tristan Harris testified before the US Congress and said something that should terrify every parent on the planet. He said these companies have a business model that says the best way to make money is to consume as much of your attention and time as possible. And the easiest way to do that is to tap into the most primitive parts of your brain: fear, outrage, anxiety, and insecurity. They are quite literally engineering emotional instability, because emotionally unstable people are more engaged users. Let me tell you about Molly Russell. Molly was a 14-year-old girl from London. By all accounts, she was bright, creative, and deeply loved by her family. In 2017, Molly took her own life. And when her father looked through her Instagram account after her death, what he found broke him. Instagram's algorithm had been feeding Molly a constant diet of content about depression, self-harm, and suicide. Thousands of posts. Night after night, the more she engaged with this content, the more the algorithm fed her. Not because anyone wanted to hurt Molly, but because her engagement data looked exactly the same as anyone else's engagement data. In 2022, a British coroner officially ruled that Instagram's content had contributed to Molly's death. It was the first time in history that a social media platform was held legally responsible for a child's death. And Molly is not alone. In the United States, multiple lawsuits have been filed by school districts against Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube, claiming these platforms knowingly addicted children and caused measurable psychological harm. As of 2024, over 40 U.S. states have joined legal action against Meta specifically. Over 40 states. When 40 state governments agree that a company harmed their children, that's not a debate anymore. That's a verdict. Now, here's what makes this worse than you think. The algorithm isn't just showing you content you like. It's actively pushing you toward content that triggers the strongest emotional reaction. And the strongest emotional reactions aren't happiness or inspiration. They're outrage, fear, envy, sadness. MIT researchers studied 126 million tweets over 11 years and found that false, emotionally triggering content spreads 6 times faster than true content. The algorithm knows this. It prioritizes this. Because emotional content keeps you scrolling. This means every time you open TikTok or Instagram, the algorithm is quietly running an experiment on you, testing which content makes you feel the worst. Because feeling bad keeps you on the app longer. It is quite literally optimizing for your misery. And Gen Z grew up entirely inside this experiment. Millennials got social media in their late teens or early 20s, when their brains were already mostly developed. Gen Z got it at 10, 11, 12 years old, right in the middle of the most critical period of brain development, right when identity, self-worth, and emotional regulation are being built. They handed a generation of children the most psychologically sophisticated addiction machine ever created. And then they told us to figure it out ourselves. So if we know all of this, why hasn't anything changed? The same reason the school system hasn't changed. The same reason the work system hasn't changed. Because the people who benefit from the broken system have no incentive to fix it. Meta made $134 billion in revenue in 2023, almost all of it from advertising. Advertising that only works if you're on the app. The more broken your mental health, the more time you spend on the app. The more time you spend on the app, the more money they make. They've gone before Congress. They've been grilled by senators. Mark Zuckerberg sat in front of parents whose children died and said sorry, and then went back to his office and changed nothing. Because sorry doesn't cost anything. But fixing the algorithm would cost billions. Several countries, including the UK, Australia, and Norway, have started passing laws restricting social media use for children under 16. Australia became the first country in the world to outright ban social media for children under 16 inches, 2024. And the social media companies fought it every step of the way. So what do you actually do about this? First, understand that awareness is the most powerful tool you have. These platforms are designed to feel invisible. The moment you recognize the slot machine, it loses some of its power over you. Second, treat your feed like a diet. What you consume shapes how you feel. If your feed is full of content that makes you feel inadequate, anxious, or outraged, your mental health will reflect that. Curate aggressively. Unfollow ruthlessly. Third, support legislation. The legal pressure on these companies is the only thing that has ever moved them. Australia's under 1/6 ban happened because citizens demanded it loudly enough that politicians had no choice. And finally, if you are a parent, the research is overwhelmingly clear. No smartphone before 14. No social media before 16. This isn't overprotective. This is just reading the data that these companies tried to hide from you. The system was broken deliberately. But knowing that is where the power starts. If this video made you think, I made another one about how school systems were designed to create workers, not thinkers, and it follows the exact same playbook. You can click it right here. Don't forget to subscribe.